Welcome to Town of Barnstable's formal site plan review. Today's date is May 1st, 2025. My name is Brian Florence, and I'll be the chair for this meeting. This meeting is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable's Government Access Channel. In accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20, I need to inquire whether anyone else is recording, and if so, please make yourself known at this time. Okay, I don't see any, so we're conducting this meeting in accordance with Town of Barnstable zoning ordinance 240-24.1.2.b4, which requires that development and modification that meets or exceeds thresholds established in section B4A in the downtown Hyannis district shall be reviewed by the building commissioner or his designee at a public meeting at which public comment shall be allowed. Maggie, is this over 5,000 square feet? Is this public comment?
Yes, it is, Brian.
All right, very good. Thank you. So the purpose of site plan review is to ensure that a site plan for a proposed development is in compliance with local, state, and federal regulations before a project is submitted for permitting. To that end, this meeting brings all of the town's regulatory agencies together in one place, so you don't have to go from department to department in order to try and understand what's required of you in order to obtain a permit. While we may, as a courtesy, provide insight into other regulations that apply to your project, such as building permits and licensing and things like that, this process should not be construed to be an approval of activities that are regulated elsewhere. In other words, if you need a building permit, this is not an approval of a building permit. The way our process works, we'll read your case into the record. You as the applicant will then have an opportunity to give a brief presentation. From there, I'll ask for staff comment and/or questions. Be helpful if you mute your microphone, and then when it's your turn to speak, we ask that you state your name before speaking. You need to share plans, and we're going to ask that you do share plans because this is a public hearing. So we need you to give it, even though you've been through informal before, we need you to kind of bring up the plans so that anyone from the public has the ability to see what those are about. We've made arrangements for you to do that, though. So if you don't know how to upload your plans, just screen share your plans, just let us know. We'll help you with that. We do ask that you let us know before sharing your plans so that we don't disrupt the flow of the meeting. Maggie will be taking notes of these proceedings in case there's anything outstanding or conditions that need to apply. So don't feel like you have to take notes. And that concludes our housekeeping stuff. Maggie, if you want to read today's case into the record, we'll go ahead and get started.
Sure, we have one agenda item with public comment today, and the site plan review number is 24-87 for Novo Builds, represented by Matt Eddy, 282 Barnstable Road in Hyannis, map parcel 310-046-001. The zoning is downtown Main Street, as well as the WP overlay. The applicants are proposing the demolition of an existing single-story office building and construction of a 29-unit, 3-story multifamily housing building with paved driveway, pervious pavers, parking lot, site lighting, landscaping, and utilities. Applicants were previously heard at an informal site plan review meeting that were held on 12/4/2024, 3/11, and 4/1/2025.
Great, thank you. Who's going to start the presentation today?
I will kick this off this morning, Brian. For the record, Matthew Eddy, professional engineer with Baxter & I Engineering and Surveying. With me today, I'm representing Chris Poley and Chris Ryberg of Novo Builds. I believe Chris Ryberg is with us this morning. Also on the meeting is Patrick Nickerson, attorney from John Kenny's office, Doug Stefanoff, the architect on the project, and Dave Hawk, the landscape architect as well.
Welcome.
So with that, I'm sorry?
I just said welcome.
Okay, thank you. As Maggie mentioned, this is the demolition of an existing office building and construction of a new 3-story, 29-unit building. And it was approved to advance to formal at the April 1st informal review meeting. So with that, I'd like to share my screen if that's okay.
Yes, please.
So I'm going to start out just on the conditions plan, just walk you through the existing conditions of the site. Currently, as noted in the record, this is address 282 Barnstable Road in Hyannis. The lot area is 22,540 square feet, so approximately half an acre. We have about 93 feet frontage along Barnstable Road, and there's also about 65 feet of frontage in the rear along Kings Way. And the site is bound by both commercial and residential uses, mainly commercial to the north, south, and west, and then there's residential on the other side of Kingsway to the east. The site is in a state zone 2. It's zoned downtown Main Street, and we also have the Wellhead Protection Overlay District. The site's fully cleared and developed. It's approximately 64.4% impervious coverage currently with 0% natural state. Access to the site is from an existing curb cut entrance here on Barnstable Road. This is a shared easement access between both 274 and 282 for then access into both adjacent parking lots. The existing parking lot on our site contains approximately 30 parking spaces. The site's currently connected to public water and sewer. It does have some existing drainage on site, and there is overhead service to the building, overhead and underground, and it also does have natural gas service to the site. So with that, I'm going to jump to the proposed. So as mentioned, we're going to be raising the existing structure and constructing one building, which is a shaded area here, 3-story, 29-unit building. Footprint is approximately 9,600 square feet. We believe this is a by right project as we meet all of the zoning requirements. Multi-unit residential dwelling use is an allowed use within this zoning district. We meet all the building lot setbacks. We've held the building forward to Barnstable Road as desired by the zoning ordinance. We're approximately 4 feet off of the layout line. Parking has been moved to the rear of the lot, again, as desired by the zoning ordinance. The frontages, the building meets the minimum 80% of the primary frontage for the building facade. The impervious coverage on the site is made slightly better than the existing, so it's a pre-existing non-conforming condition that we are making more conforming. Again, it was 64.4% existing. It's being reduced to about 63.5%. Access off of Barnstable Road is being maintained, but that is being improved. We've added 15-foot radii with curbed fillets, improving and modifying the curb cut ramps in the sidewalk and adding a crosswalk at the entrance. This access provides access for the fire department ladder truck, which is shown in our plan set on sheet 3.1 that has been reviewed with fire and Captain Landman and found to be approvable. We also, as discussed in the informal, met with DPW with Matt Roble and Griffin Bowden, the town engineer, to review the overall site distance, and we've made some modifications. And we're providing intersection site distance of over 335 feet at that entrance. Again, that was reviewed with DPW, and they're in agreement that it's approvable. And that there is a site distance plan sheet included in the site as well. The parking provided, this parking here and here is actually at ground level, obviously, but is under the parking. If you see this dashed line here, that is the second story and third story above. So this parking, which you will see on the architectural elevations, this parking is under the building. And then we have the improved parking in the rear. We are required to have 29 parking spaces per zoning, and we have provided 29 parking spaces. Also required to have 2 handicap accessible. Both are actually then accessible. So that put landscape parking setback from Kingsway that is met as well. Parking lot landscape ratio requirement of 10%. We're providing 11.8% throughout the site. We're providing an enclosed trash refuse area in the rear, meeting the health department requirements. With that, I'm going to jump to the utility plan. So we're providing enhanced stormwater management systems. We're modifying the existing two drainage systems, expanding those, adding additional underground leach pits, also adding an additional stormwater facility here, which is leach pits, and also underground Cultec chambers here for the roof runoff from the building. That has been reviewed with DPW and calculations provided, groundwater separation, et cetera. All found approvable. The design storm for all these systems contains on-site and recharges through the 25-year design storm and beyond, as required by the town. Utilities, we're bringing in new domestic and fire services here. The existing water service comes from King Street that will be abandoned. Again, new services off of Barnstable Road. We're providing a new sewer service that will replace the existing sewer service to the building. This will be a 6-inch service. We provided a sampling manhole as required by DPW at the rear property line. Electric is going underground, service coming off of Kingsway, ground transformer and underground to the building. So this overhead service here on Barnstable Road will be removed. Obviously, that's all subject to final design by Eversource, which Eversource, the utility company, which controls that design. And then natural gas, just utilizing the existing natural gas service, which is located in Barnstable Road to the building. And, just through the informal site plan review process, we had coordinated with all departments, and I think we had good dialogue, had a fair amount of dialogue with the Barnstable Municipal Airport, and they've confirmed that the heights of the building are acceptable and meet the FAA requirements. We also have, in the interim, filed the form 7460-1 to FAA, and we have received the no hazard approval letters from FAA. Those have been uploaded to the OpenGov site. I believe that addresses all of the site aspects and comments. And with that, I was going to turn it over to Doug, the architect on the project, just to briefly walk through the building elevations, et cetera. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
So first of all, thank everybody for our time today. Appreciate your attention. My name is Doug Stefanov, address of 93 F Street, South Boston. Oh, thanks, Matt. I'll quickly run through. This is a wood frame proposed building, clad in clapboards of various colors to kind of break it up a little bit. The front of the building is meeting the 60% fenestration requirement. So we're proposing a variety of double hung transom with a mullion pattern. Here we show a combination of 6/6 and 6/1. Try to bring a little bit more, detailing and traditional elements into the front. Pretty simple building. It is a box, I'll grant you, but the units are quite nice. So we think the units are quite attractive, large, and more than ample lit with balconies. We do have parking under the building, as Matt had talked about. The basic plan is a double loaded corridor, rooms on each side. We have an elevator for accessibility. The building has a common gym up front. And then, of course, the door front and back, thanks for the plans. Um, yeah, so like 5 units on the first floor, and then they kind of stack up and gets larger, of course, as Matt mentioned. We redesigned the building. It was taller before, and then to meet the FAA requirements, we dropped it down to 3 stories and elongated it with a little bit of an overhang on the back over the parking. So that worked out nicely. Um, one stair goes to the roof for mechanical access if need be. We really haven't done our full MEP package yet, um, but we're probably gas heat and then electric heating and cooling for the units with splits, hyperheat type splits. 2 sets of stairs, egress. Um, and I'll answer any questions. That's about it. Fairly, like I said, simple building.
Was the roof design flat from the beginning, or is that because of the height in the airport
No,
proximity?
we started off with a mansard actually. And yes, due to height regulations, which we were unaware of as our proximity to the airport, it did become flat. Flat rubber roof. We have no proposed use for the top of that roof, just to say there's no roof decks or no public access to that roof.
That's
So
too
it's
bad.
just
It's too bad.
it.
You're right. It is a box.
Yes,
Looks great. Look great in Boston, but on the Cape, not so much. But anyway, all
well,
right.
we can try to break up the facade, the elevation. We could do, maybe shingles for the top floor. Break up the elevation between clapboards and the shingles. So kind of
Sure.
a common vernacular down there.
Yeah. Matt, is there anybody
Yeah,
else from your team that's going to speak today?
just me. Well,
Yes, I was going to let
the landscape.
Dave
Yeah.
Hawk walk through the landscape plan.
All right.
Okay.
Why don't we
Right.
go into that, and then if the team has any questions, we'll come back to either the site plan or the architecturals. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you very much, Dave Hawk, Hawk Design. If I may share,
Yes, please.
there we go. And voila, you have the same plan that we had up before. But anyway, to add a little color in the aerial on this, we have been brought in to landscape up the property. And obviously, we've met the regulations of the bylaws and regulations. We've got we've got 6 canopy trees. Those are the larger trees that are shown in the back here. Obviously, in the front along Barnstable Road, we've got shrubs along there. We can't put trees in there because we're abutting Barnstable Road at that point. Virtually, we've landscaped all the perimeter of the property, and any space that we have, we've certainly put plants in there. The shade trees will help to buffer and soften the building. We've got 8 evergreens per the regulations to soften the areas between the parking areas and the shrubs, etc., meet those regulations. Majority of the plants are native. We've got some existing trees to the east here that we're looking to save along Kingsway. Some of those are evergreens. So, as far as the plantings go, we mix things up. So we have evergreen and deciduous for seasonal interest. And basically the rest of it is accommodating buffers, softening dumpsters, enhancing the entries that we have, and trying to set things as best we can in a landscape setting. Short and sweet.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else, Matt?
No, that's it. Turn it back over to staff and happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Maggie, have you received any correspondence on this matter?
No written correspondence, Brian.
Thank you. Next, we'll go planning and development, please.
Hi, Kyle Pedersen from Planning and Development. Per the town's inclusionary housing ordinance, 3 units will need to be deed restricted as affordable. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Building division.
Thank you, Brian. Jeff Carter, Building Division. No specific questions, but just a couple comments from building. We will be looking for a demo permit to remove the existing structure that's on site. And along with that application, we'll want to see the utility shutoff letters, and then a building permit for the new construction, which will fall under construction control. And those are our comments. Thank you.
You, Hyannis Fire.
Good morning. Thanks, Brian. Tim Lamb, Hyannis Fire Prevention. Quick comment regarding the landscape plan. I noticed it's dates back to the original proposed building. My only concern would be consideration for a choice of tree at the corner of the building where it swings into the vicinity of the handicap parking area. Just something that's going to apply as far as meeting fire codes, so basically so our truck can clear it without either damaging the tree or our equipment. Otherwise, nothing else besides that. There'll be a fair amount at the permitting process. Some things that I'm sure they're aware of that we'll be looking for as far as including fire protection on your construction control documents. We'll also be looking for submittal of an NFPA 241 plan with the identification of the fire prevention program manager for the project, and at the appropriate point during construction, third-party BDA testing. That's it for us today. Thanks, Brian.
Great, thank you. DPW engineering, please.
Morning, Matt Roble, DPW Engineering. So as Matt Eddy alluded to, we basically resolved all of our outstanding non-permitting related questions and comments with them. At this point in time, it's basically just permitting related. So we will be requiring a road opening and trench permit to be obtained from DPW prior to the start of construction. The road opening permit will be required for any work within the public right-of-way, and any road closures required to facilitate work will require a traffic management plan be submitted, reviewed, and approved by DPW prior to start of construction. We'll also be requiring a pre-treatment sewer modification questionnaire to be submitted to DPW Water Pollution Control as part of the permitting process for sewer connection. You can contact Kevin Follett, which we provided the email address for a copy of that survey. Any tree removals within the town right-of-way will need to be coordinated with DPW's tree warden, Andrew Bernier. Hyannis Fire and DPW will need to be coordinated with for any address changes associated with the new building and numbering of apartment units. And any sidewalks damaged by construction activities will need to be upgraded to DPW standards prior to closeout of construction. No further comments at this time.
Thank you. Public health.
Thank you, Brian. David Stanton with Public Health. So for the Health Division, they just need to register any rental units with the Health Division. And I just wanted to clarify two quick things. The correct map and parcel will be 310-436-001. And also on the landscape plan, I just noticed it said a 4-story building. I think that's been switched to 3-story building. So just to get those updated. That's all. Thank you.
You. Matt, and more specifically, Attorney Nickerson. So I'll be looking for just a narrative that shows the zoning path that shows that we have a as of right projects. I'd appreciate that. And Kyle, did they get a free tree?
I believe they are in the planting zone. So yeah, contact our office if you're interested.
Yeah, so there's a free tree available through the town of Barnstable. They have a program at the Planning and Development Office that you can get a free tree. So, all right. Does anybody see any reason why this matter cannot move forward to permitting? Seeing none, I'd find the matter approved. Yep.
Brian, there could be public comment.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Maggie. I appreciate that. Is anybody from the public here that would like to speak on this matter? Hearing none, I would find.
No. Hello.
Okay.
Hello?
Okay. Why don't
Yes.
you turn your video on, Miss Olwell, and let's have a discussion. I need you to state your name.
Turn the video on. There you go.
Yeah, thank
So
you.
my name is Heidi Alwell. I'm representing Dr. Michael Seidman. He is the owner of Top Flight Development. His building that he's been a dentist at for over 30 years is located at 262 Barnstable Road. So there's one building in between us. So I have a slew of questions. So I heard utility shutoffs. So we are
Miss Olwell.
Yes.
Miss Olwell, So we're available for public comment. We're not going to do question and answers, but I will be very happy to take your written questions and
No,
we'll
no,
get
no.
them to,
I have some questions on what was presented here today. Why I
Yeah.
cannot ask those questions?
you
Isn't
can.
that what this is for?
No, this is for public comment.
Comments. So let me give you my comments.
Okay, great.
I see that it says something about Kingsway being 40 feet. Are they talking about wide?
As a public layout, so yeah, that'll be 40 feet wide.
It is not. I've measured it this morning. It's 24 feet wide.
The asphalt and the layout are two different things, ma'am. So the
So the-
layout is 40, the width of the asphalt is 20.
So the width of that, so does that mean the town owns 40 feet?
That's correct.
So 40 feet, but 24 is the asphalt. Okay. I have concern. So there's a little bit of confusion. The drawing that was presented, floor number 3, doesn't show the layout of the units.
Yeah, this is a site plan matter. We don't really,
Right.
we're not
Okay.
involved in the interior of the building.
Okay. How many one-bedroom units are going to be in this building?
If you'd like, we can put you in touch with the developer and you can have a discussion with them about the number of units. Again, this is for about the site plan. This is about the earth and the access to the property.
Great. I have some questions about the access to the property.
Okay.
So I know that's that easement right now. So there's our parking lot and the parking lot next to us and the parking lot that's part of this property are somewhat conjoined. So I am concerned about multiple things, which I guess you guys don't want to address, such as utility shutoffs, road closures. But my major concern is going to be the parking. So I noticed on the drawings that we have quite a few offices in these buildings, which I think we all know that that's one way of getting around how many parking spaces we need. We throw an office in there. The tenant invites, 2 of his friends to come live in his office. So where are these extra people going to park? Because there's no way that building is only going to have 30 tenants that have vehicles. I can tell you where they're going to try to park, on my property and the property next door. So how are we going to handle that?
I don't follow your question. We have a parking schedule that is in our zoning ordinance. The folks that have designed this project have done it in accordance with that parking schedule.
Okay, so like I said, some of these offices are larger than the bedrooms in the units. So to me, it's baloney. We have a little baloney going on here. And that's so that we can get the number of parking spaces and we're complying with that. That does not factor into how many people are going to be trying to park in that area. That's an issue.
We're speculating that they're going to violate the ordinance and we
They
can't.
cannot not violate the ordinance. There's no way that there's only going to be one person with a vehicle for each unit. I'm assuming some of these units are more than one bedroom.
Would somebody from the project like to address the question? Probably Mr. Eddie, I think you're most qualified.
Or Doug, yeah, Doug, why don't you can fill that
Oh.
if you could.
All right. Well, the short answer is that even there's one parking space required per unit, regardless of the number of rooms. That's the requirement, and we've met the requirement.
So I think that's wonderful. I would like to clap for you guys to doing that. But the
Miss,
impact on
I'm not gonna,
businesses
we're
here
not gonna,
is
we're
not
not gonna,
acceptable.
Miss Olwell, the folks
So,
here are
so
being
when do we
polite.
have the
Miss
opportunity in the
Olwell,
public forum to ask questions before this
Miss,
project goes ahead?
Miss
That's my
Olwell, the people here are being very nice and polite to you. I'd appreciate the same in response. So if you would like to, as I said in the very beginning, if you have a bunch of questions, we'd be happy to take them in writing and we'd be happy to try to address them for you as best we can.
So who would I address those with? The different.
You can send them to Maggie Flynn at the town
Who's going to be addressing those?
planning and development office. It'll be probably a combination. You can
Okay.
address it to site plan review chairman, that's me.
So what's going to happen from this point on? So are the butters allowed to weigh in on this, or is it just tough luck? This is what's happening.
Well, this is the ability to make comments right here now. So if you're the only abutter that's here, then you're the one that gets to make comments.
But I'm being told I can submit my questions. So I'm only allowed to make comments?
Right.
Okay. I think the fact that they have so many offices in this building is a bunch of malarkey, because we all know that there's not going to just be 30 people trying to park in that area. So that's going to be an issue. Next comment, we have 3 dental offices, one next door to us and one directly across the street. And there's a 4th one about five buildings down. Having road closures and especially utility shutoffs, I don't know how long those will be, etc. But if we don't have water and electricity, then we can't function, we can't see patients. So I don't know what the plan is for that. I don't know if they're talking about, early in the morning from 6 to 8 a.m. or exactly what, but that will be completely unacceptable if we're left without water and electricity for periods of time longer than 2 hours. Okay, I guess that's it. So the drawings and everything that were supplied with the information that I received from the town were not accurate. They had a 4-story building, etc. So when will those be updated?
Have been, ma'am. You saw the plans that are being proposed were here today.
Great. Will they be available as well to download those plans?
Once the site plan review process is over, there's no requirement under the records retention laws for us to keep them. If you would like a copy, we can ask the developer if they'd be happy to provide one for you.
Okay. Okay.
Leave your email address with Maggie and we'll see if we can accommodate that.
Will they be putting a privacy fence around this property to discourage people from trying to park in other places that aren't part of that property?
There was no fence proposed.
Okay, so that means that easement between yourself and our neighbor means that there will be towards the front of the building, people could just park there freely. There's nothing to stop them. So now my part-time job will be going out into the parking lot multiple times a day to find out if people are parking here illegally. Thanks a lot. Okay, that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Seeing none, I find that this matter is approvable and may proceed to permitting. Mr. Eddy, would you hang around after the meeting?
Sure thing. All right. Thank you all.
Thank you, folks, for your presentation. Nice job. And thank you, staff, for your time and attention to site plan review. I do appreciate that, Maggie. If you, Mr. Eddy, and Mr. Roble could stick around, I'd appreciate it. I'm going to stop the recording now. That concludes site plan review for May 1st, 2025.